Good evening, dear friend. Welcome to this, our Wednesday evening, live about 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live from the bowels of Hell's Kitchen, the cloaca, the cecum of Hell's Angels, Hell's Kitchen. Welcome, my friends. We have one of the best stories, so comprehensive. We're going to be talking about what Madam Candace talked about, but also some other aspects of this, which are very, very critical. Because you see, one of the things that people still don't really understand, that they think that all we're doing is just some kind of just some kind of some kind of a fan club for Candace. I mean, is that what people think it is? And I understand it because people don't know anything. They just tune in for the first time and they figure, oh, they're talking about her again, because they've given this no thought, no explanation, no understanding. And what I've got is about, I don't know, maybe 10 or so subdirectories, sub-issues, which are so critical, not only for Candace, no, not only this, but they transcend, dare I say, they transcend everything. So get ready for this. Your thoughts and comments, of course, are welcome. I'm so happy to be here. Please, of course, like the video, like, and subscribe. Like and subscribe. You know, those are the metrics. That's how we get into the HOV lane, ladies and gentlemen, of doing whatever the hell it is that we're doing. But before we begin this, and I can't say this enough, but you know, when the shit hits the fan, you better be ready to respond. And one of the most critical things that you could do right now is to put together a bag. They call it a bug out bag. I think it sounds too cutesy, but something that you can take with you immediately that has everything you will need in the event you've got to get out and survive. Listen carefully. When disaster hits, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on what you already prepared. Wildfires, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, blackouts, EMP and grid attacks, riots, disaster. Get it? And when the warning comes, there's no time to search for flashlights or bottled water or first aid supplies while your family waits at the door. That's why My Patriot Supply created the fully stocked bug out bag. You've got to get this. It's a rugged, grab-and-go tactical backpack packed with 60 emergency essentials, including food, water, shelter, fire, starting tools, lighting, first aid, and more. Everything is already packed and ready right out of the box. Keep one in your car, your home, your RV, your office, your cabin, because the emergencies never make appointments. And right now, you can get $100 off plus free shipping for a limited time. So act now. There will be no special invitation in life. Disaster always comes unannounced. Get prepared now. Go to preparewithlionel.com. That's preparewithlionel.com and click the link today. All right, my friends, thank you so much. By the way, first of all, welcome to just to everybody. The fact that you would take time out of your incredibly busy night or evening, depending upon when you're watching this, to be a part of this is critical. Make sure you also sign up. My absolutely free, this is the newsletter. One went out today explaining this Carmelo Anthony. I don't want to go through this, but if you're interested in anything about my legal analysis as a former prosecutor, this is it. Just click onto that. It looks rather intense, but just click on sign up for free. No big deal. Sign up to the Lionel Nation newsletter right there. All right, my friends, let's go through a couple of things here, why this is important and what we need to discuss, which I think is oftentimes missed. Because let's face it, some of these people, including Dana Loesch, this poor dame doesn't know what the hell's going on. Seriously, she does not know what's going on. I got to tell you something. When people don't know what's going on, I laugh, because you've got to know what's going on. And I think Marvin Gaye taught us the best. She doesn't know what's going on. She still can't understand how what she says is absolutely one of the funniest things ever. She doesn't understand that this, and I think Candace was very, very kind widow, and she made a tremendously important point about how there were people like Tupac and Biggie and others who had scripture tattooed on their bodies. In fact, one could argue that Diddy lost his, or maybe not his wife, but his baby mama or somebody. I guess he's off limits too. It just goes to show you that this Dana broad, bar my French, doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Doesn't know how this thing works. That's the part which is the most funny. That's the part which I wish somebody would explain to me. Do you not understand this? Do you not understand? How can you ever look back and not recall this with absolute hysteria?
Step out very boldly right now. Exodus 22:22.
Now, I'm not going to make you go through this. She didn't realize
You shall not
this.
afflict any widow or fatherless child if you afflict them in any way, and they cry out.
This is her speech. I just want to. I just want you to understand something. We'll talk about this Ivanka Trump. Ivanka Trump. Why did you do this story about the Albanian island? Do you not understand? See, that's the part. When somebody is so devoid of decorum, where they don't understand it.
At all to me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath will be hot.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to make you go through that. It's horrible. It's just horrible. It is horrible. But this is what we were talking about, and we were talking about it last night, and laughing hysterically because of the very fact that she does not understand it. TP useless or whatever somebody called it. I don't understand. I don't grasp it. So that's what this is about. It's more than just TP, USA for toilet paper. It's a little bit more than that. Because tonight we're going to be talking about something. This is called, the first aspect is, and think about this. This is the collapse of legacy conservative personalities. Why figures, various people, once seen as influential voices, appear now increasingly disconnected, untethered from changing audiences and cultural realities. The people, I think I told you this before. This is the idea of we are on a conveyor belt. We're on a conveyor belt, and on this conveyor belt, we have people who were before us, and then they're ahead of us, and then we're here, and there are people coming over here, and everybody. You just keep moving. It's kind of like an Overton window. And you got to find out who are the people involved now. There are people who still think that Sean Hannity and Newt Gingrich and Rush Limbaugh, bless his heart, and Ronald Reagan, that it's over with. We'll talk about this. So the first thing that people understand, think about this again for people who say, "What are you doing? Just is this a Candace love fest?" No. More importantly, is that this is a very, very critical aspect. This is why this is important. They miss this point. So the first part is the collapse of legacy conservative personalities. Next, I think I alluded to it before, it's called the Dana Loesch. Is it Loesch? I don't know. The Dana Loesch. Loesch is more. The Loesch problem. Loesch. When commentary becomes performance, her outrage, the feigned, choreographed, kabuki-like outrage, the repetition, the predictability, it diminishes and destroys. She doesn't understand what she did. She didn't. Okay, so that's the second thing. Third part. Erica Kirk doesn't even show up. These women paid whatever the hell it was to attend this women's leadership, and she doesn't even show up. She left early. Why? She has such utter contempt. Her soul, she's not in the game. She has no use for you or them or anybody. I don't know what she wants. I don't know what Dana Loesch wants. I don't know what the hell these people are talking about. Loesch. I don't know. That is, Candace is saying, this is what I want to do. This is what I think. They're just walking around in the dark, just hoping people show up. And one of these days, people are going to say, in fact, it should be now, I'm not showing up because I'm not going to pay money to have Dana yell at me. Yell at me. Next. This is the coming the advent on the horizon of the conservative leadership vacuum. And by the way, please forgive me. I use the word conservative because I think it's like I think it's almost like a shortcut or something for whatever this movement is. But who is going to emerge to speak for younger voters, younger women, younger, whoever your target is, you better think younger. I'm out of the picture. Sad to say, a lot of you are out of the picture. What is being done to lure it? That's what Charlie did. Charlie made it cool. He was young enough and hip enough and smart enough. He was within that range. And you know, and I know, listen, let me explain something to you. This is the part which I think you know this, but I want you to grasp this. Please accept your age. Please. There's nothing wrong with it. Whatever you are, if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, accept it. Be lucky you're alive. Be very, very lucky. And understand that no matter how cool you are, there are people who will look at you as though you're ancient. You did it. You did it then. There are people you look at. I was looking at somebody one time who I thought was ancient. He's younger than me because I don't know what the hell I am. But so understand this. A lot of men don't understand this. Men, how do I say this? I said, women, 20-year-old women are not going to find you attractive or sexy. If they do, they want your money or they've got some weird Freudian daddy thing. I don't know what's going on, but get it through your thick head, okay? When you were 20, sure. If that means something to you, it ain't going to happen. You'd be surprised. And I see it all the time. I see women and men going through this, especially men with taking, not hormones. Well, hormones to an extent. Anyway, I don't want to belabor that point. So the question is very simply this. Who is going to be involved in the great realignment of younger Americans? You know, these traditional talking points, they don't resonate with younger people anymore. Next, did you see the Ivanka Trump? What is she doing? They live in a sense of impunity. It is an oligarchy. It's a timocracy. It is a world where the privileged figure, I don't have to concern myself. And I'm going to come up with this cockamamie story about how I decided we're out there on the Rothschilds boat. By the way, did you see Feckety's speak? Watch Christine Feckety. Phenomenal. She doesn't even say anything. Her reaction says it all. But these luxury products, international investments, and wealth can create perceptions and realities of detachment from ordinary Americans. And Candace reminded people who they are, what they are, because believe it or not, to so many folks, and I mean this, they don't understand what Gaza means to young people, what Israel, they don't understand this. They don't get it. And it's not anti-Semitism. There was a talk about somebody being deported, I think back to Jordan, somebody who was responsible for saying some things during the old days about either Israel or whatever. And people are applauding this. Now, if I replaced Gaza or whatever, or excuse me, Israel with, let's say, the United States, meaning if somebody were on a college campus screaming and yelling about death to the United States, they wouldn't be deported. In fact, they'd be almost expected. There's something that people find problematic with somebody being deported for whatever reason. Again, not if you're violent. If you're violent, is a different story, but pretty much somebody being deported who could say the same thing about his own country, but is deported if he mentions Israel. That doesn't make sense to people. And nobody seems to understand why that doesn't make sense to people. It doesn't make sense. And Ivanka Trump doesn't understand what's happening either. Why did I would say, Mr. President, why are you doing this? So she can brag. Don't brag about this. People are not going to be demanding all kinds of where you get the money from, who's involved, what's going on. The Albanian people are pissed off about this. You're going to have lay low. Say one thing about Jared. He doesn't say anything. He never says anything. He's like a reptile. He doesn't say anything. He says nothing. And he's smart. But this one has got to come out with this ridiculous cockamamie story. And we saw this. We were on a friend's boat and we jumped up and we went swimming. And we were on the island barefoot and say, stop this. Stop this. You're insulting us. And that's the thing. There is such a detachment. Dana screaming, biblical. Eric is nowhere to be found. Does anybody know what the reality is for most people? Apparently not. Now, the next part about this, which is important, there's the new age of oligarchy and influence. You got to ask yourself if political media and business elites operate under some different set of assumptions. The answer is yes. And different expectations than anybody else. And there's the myth of permanent popularity. Beauty and celebrity and wealth and personal branding and all this stuff, that no longer guarantees public acceptance. Nobody cares about this. I've got nothing against Ivanka Trump, but what does she think she represents? She's on some podcast. Why in the name of God do people do this? It's the same reason that people have to put everything on social media. Pictures of their feet, pictures of their dessert, pictures of their children, pictures of their car, pictures of where they go. It's like they live in a world where I've got to talk about it. I've got to talk about it. They couldn't be spies. They couldn't do anything of any kind of classified realm. They have to speak. Where are you going to hear this? Candace. Who's going to talk about all of this stuff? Candace. And by the way, other groups of people who are, let's say, subsidiaries of Candace as well. This is why the message is so important. Then when you talk about genocide, displacement, and a new political consciousness, the younger folks, younger generations are absolutely increasingly focused on issues of war and displacement and genocide and sovereignty and humanitarian horrible, the Nakba. They are so into it. Other people have not a clue. They don't know what's going on. Listen to me. I want you to hear me, and I want you to understand how serious this is. And I'm not asking you whether you agree with it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you agree with this or not, or whether you disagree. It's irrelevant. People think differently today. And younger people who are on the conveyor belt, down the road, maybe not behind us, but significantly away, they're next. And this means something. And people in charge always say to themselves, well, I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that. I don't worry about that. I'm not concerned with that. Let me give you a story. Years ago, New York used to be the delicatessen capital of the world. I mean, it was, oh God. Forget Katz's. I love the Carnegie. I was on the menu and I love those. And it was just great. Anyway, that's out of business, and Ben Ash is out of business. And there are a few places because they kind of own the building. But here's the issue. People said younger people today are more health conscious. They don't understand the idea of, pastrami. It's very, very good. Schmaltz and chicken fat and all that. It's just not working. It's a different audience. And people said, you don't understand. New York is a deli. It's like, look, did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you think. I know people who, if you said, what genocide? What are you talking about? Have you met these people? Have you met these people? Have you met people where you're saying, what are you talking? They watch Fox News. They watch Fox News. They think you're, and they'll say, well, these people had it bad, had it coming to them. This is all Hamas. And I'm thinking, have you followed any of this stuff? And you realize, oh my God. But here's the deal. If the Republicans or anybody want to win new voters, they better address this. People are sick of this. They don't understand it. They don't follow it. This is the thing which is the most important. This is so, so critical. I cannot say it. Okay, now, not done yet. This is important. First of all, next. Are we following this? We have some very interesting comments today. Have you noticed this? Have you noticed we have a lot of dare I say some folks here who are a little angry. Should we address some of these? Is there anybody in particular that I should maybe address? I'm not really following them, but is there anybody here that perhaps maybe understand this? Anybody? Let me look at this. Let me see them. When somebody writes LOL, I don't know what that means. Where you say LOL what? Let me go back here. I think she's pretty aware how her father creates chaos and conflict, and it's probably hated by a lot of people. She's associated with him. No. No. No, 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 no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is a complete and total disconnect. They don't understand this. They don't grasp it. This is the most important thing in the world. They, honest to God, do not understand this. Period. And no matter what you say it is, they don't see it. Okay? This is the part which is interesting. And also, we're getting into a lot of people who are just frankly, did you see, was it Benny Johnson? I think it was Benny Johnson. You know Benny, you know what I'm saying? Benny Johnson. Remember her? Okay. Benny Johnson was talking to, what was his name? From, you know what I'm talking about, the Middle East, the Muslim fellow, very bright. You know what I'm talking about, Hamesh or whatever. Anyway, he said, what is Donald Trump's most important accomplishment? Remember that they asked him? Remember that? They asked him, what do you think it is? And here's the story. He couldn't think of anything. He couldn't answer. Couldn't say anything. Nothing. Nothing. They said, but what has he done? Nothing. He couldn't answer anything. He was there, and he's on some kind of a forgiveness show trying to explain why he doesn't know anything. And one of the things which is the most problem, this is the most important. Why is it that people who go out there never seem to ask or act or consider how it is or what they're supposed to do? How did Dana not know she's not supposed to say this? How does Ivanka say they're going to love this? By the way, Dana Loesch, whatever, was not really overacting. She didn't understand it. She just didn't understand it. This is the most critical thing. She doesn't understand it. She doesn't know what she's supposed to do. She went to this thing and she thought, look, people are going to love me. And in my mind, I've got this idea of what it is. I'm a strong, authoritarian Christian woman, and I'm going to bark and scream and yell about all kinds of stuff. And they will be so moved by me. She really thought this beyond anything else. It's this world which fascinates me. You know, when you go back and you look at this, again, I ask myself this question. I look at this. How do people come about this? For example, this is important. When there was a case, you saw this, right? When Alex Clark or whatever it was and Vance announced this. I want to go back. Remember, I want you to ask you something. You're at the women's leadership, whatever it was, at TPUSA. And so far you're thinking, so far the celebrity status sucks. Dana's screaming at me. So what did they do? They give you this. Now, I've got to say this again. I know I'm repeating myself. You're thinking, what am I here for? What am I here for? This has nothing to do with my leadership. She's with us. Somebody said the guy from Schitt's Creek. What am I here for? Gene Levy's son. I don't understand it. This is like day, whatever it is, and I've got to hear this.
Going to your big announcement.
You remember this? I was telling people this. She can't find a straight man to marry, so she's marrying a gay. Well, we don't know whether he's gay, but think about this. And yeah, who is Alex Clark? We don't know. See, that's the thing I'm saying. This is the people are saying, do you love Candace? It's like, did you not see this? This has nothing to do with Candace, nothing to do with this. This was the biggest thing. Charlie Kirk maybe got Donald Trump elected. And since he was slaughtered, these ditzy dames are coming out of the woodwork and destroying everything. This has nothing to do with Candace. Nothing. Look at this. This is... Ask yourself, do you have any teenage girls? Are they going to connect with this?
Yesterday on stage, you revealed Vance, your new fiance.
There are people who, honest to God, want so much to be famous. And they don't realize that they're not famous. But as far as they're concerned, they are. And this thing, this was the best one. I don't want to put you through it. I can't put you through it. I can't. But in case you weren't paying attention, this is the part where everybody said, holy shit. This woman who came out of nowhere. And listen, I know sometimes you got to ask yourself, is this really, do we really know if somebody's gay? Sometimes I think maybe people spend a little too much, a little too much with kind of like the stereotypical stuff. This is what people thought. I woke up like you, most people. I thought, okay, I'll check this out. I don't know who this lady is. Let me see this guy that, by the way, she's telling all these young women, remember, telling them, I want you to get married. I want you to have children. Have children with this guy. This is her husband. This is Vance.
Hello, I'm Vance Veltberg, and I was the instructor of the beginning fiddle class, so I'm going to play you some tunes I taught. This first one is called Tennessee Waltz.
No, I can't do this. I can't. We can't do it. We're not going to do the Tennessee. So this, again, I'm walking around saying, Ivanka's talking about swimming and going barefoot in some Albanian island that she's going to basically, and they're going to just kick people off or who knows. You got this Alex dame that nobody knows about. And she's saying, I got engaged. People say, who are you? You got Dana Loesch screaming Deuteronomy and this. I have no idea what she's saying. This guy comes along. And Charlie, if there's one thing that Charlie said ever, it was like, I'm not that I mean ill for gay people, but I'm not a big support. I shouldn't say that. He didn't prefer it. So the bottom line is simply this. This is completely and totally disconnected. There is a disconnect, and I'm living in a world that doesn't make any sense. And when Candace says, others as well, in this new iteration, this party, whatever it is, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to address, people are actually asking for it. So this is the part, this is the most important thing in the world. These people are through. Have more children than you can afford. Yes, Miss Patty says, this enrages me. It is the saddest thing I've ever heard. These are faux Christians. We're living in a world right now that is really, really, honestly serious. And our sense of criminal justice is bizarre. We have a guy on trial. Let me tell you something. Jimmy Dore does some of the best versions of this ever. His depiction, so to speak, is so good and so incredible. It absolutely is incredible. But then, to show you, you've got Tyler Robinson that people are saying he is absolutely, positively guilty when in fact he's not. Then you had different case. Carmelo Anthony, this punk who had a disagreement about seating. It was raining. They were inside a shelter or something. And he wouldn't leave. And he basically was acting like a thug. And he told somebody, he said, you don't know what I've got, or leave me alone. So this sad case, which still blows my mind. This is what people are still trying to figure out. This incredible story. This Carmelo Anthony, I'm trying to get, how old is he? He's looking at 35 years. 35 years. Think about this. He is going to be at 35 years because he stabbed Austin Metcalf. In fact, it was some of the worst. The pictures were horrible. This guy is as guilty. Austin Metcalf will never see tomorrow. This is the worst thing anybody has ever seen. Some of the jurors were absolutely just disgusted. And what happened was, more than anything else, in this case, instead of people saying, look, this guy's guilty, we got to put an end to it, this is the reaction from a sizable faction of our society.
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion here.
Just like Carmelo was doing. I'm glad you just said that. That's what Carmelo was doing. Protecting his motherfucking self.
So let me ask you something. And this is it. Do you feel sometimes that you are on another planet? Or that you've been in a coma and you woke up and this is the world we live in? Do you ever feel like that? There's no leadership. There are no parties. Nobody is doing anything to even remotely consider what really bothers us, what's really important for us. We are living among a group of absolute, not all, but gibberish spewing, I don't know what. We live in this world of complete and total disconnect. And let me tell you something. I want everybody to understand this. This is really critical. What is going to happen next is when we take all of this Candace stuff, and it's going to be one day TPUSA is over and this one's done, and who cares about that? And Erica's done, and Dana, but it's going to be done. It's going to be done. But the political offshoot, the byproduct of that is going to be so huge, absolutely, without a doubt, 100% huge. And let me also tell you something. And if you don't think that there are people who are just sitting back and watching this and missing it, you're mistaken. They're looking at her and they're saying, what is this about? They look at Massey and they look at Joe Caddy, they look at Tucker, and they look at them as like they're not important. They're not critical. I can't explain to you anymore how critical these people are. It's going to be cataclysmic. Absolutely, positively, 100% cataclysmic. This is going to be a revolution. So remember something. If you think this is about Candace and we love Candace, no. It's not about Candace. It's about this movement because you're upset and you don't realize it. But nobody's looking out for you. Nobody's speaking for you. You have no party. You have no, because you are a constituent of nothing. Let me ask you something. Who is the most important person right now that you think, forget Candace, but I'm saying somebody who speaks your mind. Somebody that you would say, you know what, I would vote for this person. This person speaks for me. Who is it? Name me. Who is it? Who is the person? Who is the person today who is going to get this country back in order? You can forget, I'm sorry, the Donald Trump that we knew and loved 2016, he was great. I don't know where this is. I don't know. Bilzerian? I got nothing. Do you really think, and this is important, do you, and I know this is important, I know this is great, and I think it's terrific, but do you believe that Bilzerian, that Dan Bilzerian, now you may like him, I like the way he's very bold, he's very brash, do you think Dan Bilzerian could run for office? Dan Bilzerian running foreign policy. Dan Bilzerian in charge of the economy and domestic, Dan Bilzerian. I know he's interesting. I know it. How about the Tate brothers? Do you think they're good? Remember, they're interesting. They're great copy. They say some stuff about men and all this kind of stuff. Who was it? Andrew always sounds like he's chewing on something. Like I don't understand. Do you think that is? Joe Kent, perhaps, maybe. Massey, perhaps. Tucker. But none of these people they'll never get to square one because they pose such an existential threat to the powers that be. Who are the people? Who are the people? I mean, seriously, not people that you like, but somebody who poses an actual Tulsi Gabbard might be important. Dick Shorty Long, our good friend, I call him Dick. Dick says, there have always been imbeciles in the world, but I don't even remember there being this many. Thank you. I agree with you. I also see this, and somebody said, you really shouldn't be, I shouldn't be what? Well, maybe you shouldn't be. Why? Why can't I have this? Remember, these are people upset over a murderer who was found guilty. Listen to this.
They should have both been arrested.
This is also speaking all at the same time. I watch this. This is everybody speaking at the same time. I think you might have missed some of the most important. By the way, profane, absolutely profane, disconnected, loud, no cogent thought, just screaming and yelling, but not really telling you, what is it? Was he not guilty? Did he not stab? What did they want?
Yeah. I forgot, and the twin brother would have been with him. Fuck you saying?
They should have both been arrested.
They should both have been dead.
They should have both been arrested. What did Austin do? What? Think about it.
The both brothers. Both of them should have been dead. You ask me? Don't record me. I ain't asked you not to record me. Like I said.
Doesn't that just, what is that? What did Austin Metcalf do? Let me ask you a question. What country is this? I'm serious. If somebody asked you, let's say they spoke from other country, from Portugal, and they said, what are they saying? You would say, I don't know. I don't know. Do they speak English? Well, yeah. Well, what did they say? I don't know. Well, you heard them. I know. Are they from here? Yes. Were they raised in your country? Yes. Why can you not understand them? I don't know. I can't. I don't know. And as long as we see this, it's never, ever, ever going to be better. It blows my mind. I'm fascinated by this. I'm fascinated by and nobody ever says, excuse me, what are you saying? What is happening here? Oh, no, don't do that. Oh, no. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Why not? Well, just look the other way. Let me tell you something. There are times when I got to stop and I got to think to myself, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And then I think to myself, not really. I really don't know. We need a revolution in this country, and I don't know if we're up for it. Now, what happens is, I love talking about this, and it's fun. But you do realize that this is going to be over with, right? TPUSA, all the people, all of the names, Dana, she'll do her thing. It's going to be over with. It's done. It's like I don't know what it is. It's almost like a militant country club or something. It's done. But what's going to happen next is, okay, what do we do with this? And what Candace is going to be focusing on, and I hope we are too, is let's get really serious. Tyler Robinson is next. And then there's foreign policy. And then we're going to say, well, what about domestically? This is what I want to know. Where are you going to focus your direction next domestically? What does she want? Because remember something, and I mean this. If Candace Owens tomorrow said, and I told you this, if she decided, I'm going to have Candace Fest in Nashville, people would come from all over the world. It would be the biggest thing you've ever seen. And it would scare people like you can't believe. It would scare them. And so far, she's not asking. There's no ask. She's just saying some things is what I think. And that's terrific. But what I'm telling you, be not mistaken, especially to the detractors who don't understand this. This is huge. This is what the music of the 60s was. This is what Tavistock told us. This is when people said, oh, a bunch of hippies singing music. No. This is going to change everything. There is a huge sea change about to occur in this country. I am telling you. And there's a fundamental change in terms of people who are reclaiming faith, reclaiming their ability to enjoy, basically old-fashioned, for lack of a better word, fundamental Christian precepts coming out of the woodwork. Does this administration, does the Trump administration even address them? Anything? Remember when I'm telling you this. I know sometimes people think, well, this is huge. There is nothing. It's like the Democrats and the Republicans, they just ran out of gas. And they're not even coasting to a stop. They've stopped. But they act like everything's okay. People throw around J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, it doesn't matter. There are people right now who are going to come out of the woodwork who say, you know what? We'd like to be involved in this. What should we do? What should we do? And number one, you are going to see, and for the most part, Americans have had absolutely no interest whatsoever in anything involving international relations or geopolitics. The Middle East right now is on more people's minds than you would ever imagine. Go and look through YouTube. Look at the number of young people in particular and others. Look how many shows are dedicated worldwide to what's going on. Worldwide. And what has the Republican Party given you? Ukraine and Bibi Netanyahu. That's it. Neither of them have anything to do with the United States. Nothing. Do you know how big that is? Do you know what's going to happen? And all of the people who like the Lindsey Grahams, and by the way, he won. That's because this is how screwed up. He won again. But the people who are the most important, the people who are, they're going to, it's going to stick on them. They're going to be viewed as, and it, by the way, has nothing to do with religion. Let me say this again, and let me remind you, it has nothing to do with religion. This is bigger than anything in the world. So anyway, my friends, get ready for this. Get ready for something bigger than you can imagine. And I'm telling you right now, God bless her. And you're going to catch grief. There's a lot of folks out there, they don't really understand it because they hate the fact that somebody is so popular. They hate her. They tried to do it with Tucker. They tried to do it with her. And none of it's working. And here's the best part. Nobody gives a shit about Erica Kirk. Nobody cares about Dana. Who are these people? Nobody. Kayleigh McEnany and these other. Nobody cares. Nobody. They are people who are there. Have you ever been? I haven't seen this, but sometimes, remember in high school, maybe they had a pep rally or something, and they had the football players, and maybe we didn't have cheerleaders, but, and they're up there, and you get the impression that they're there not for any particular reason to encourage the team to win, but to show you how cool they are. Does that make any sense to you? Did you ever have people, maybe you were the cool person, but did you in high school, were there people, women, men, people who thought that they were, and you not only better, but that they were popular, and you wanted to tell them, you're not popular. I mean, this popularity has no currency. We're in high school. It doesn't matter. whether you're popular or not popular, we all come to school, we leave, we go, but we home. It doesn't really matter. Have you ever seen this before? You haven't lived. This is absolutely incredible. And they just don't get it. Miss Petty says, Lionel, the way you did the teeth thing with Alex Clark and repeated what she said in that voice was the best thing ever. Thank you. I don't know what the teeth thing was, but I'll tell you what, though, I can't go through that. That was the most exhausting thing. But I got to tell you, when I woke up and I saw that, Patty, I thought, this is going to be gold. And the best part is, Patty, if we got a hold of Alex and we said, you do know you're the laughing stock, right? She said, I don't know what you mean. They're laughing at you. Why? Because this man, I'm not saying he is, appears to be the gayest person who's ever walked. I mean, not just like, well, I mean, he makes Richard Simmons look like Aldo Ray. This is the most, and she doesn't know. And nobody in TPUSA says, hold it, we got to get her off. Yeah, we can't do this. Why? We can't. First of all, who is she? Nobody knows who she is. She's ruining our time. Nobody knows. This is stupid. They're going to see this. Candace is going to get a hold of this and destroy it. We can't do this. We can't let this happen. We look like idiots. They didn't care. They didn't care. Dana, you can't go out and scream Exodus and Deuteronomy. You can't do this. You can't scream the Pentateuch like you did some chat GPT or something and pull out you can't do this. She didn't know it. And then today got upset that people were coming after her, basically calling into question her faith. I can't believe this. President Trump, you can't have your daughter on some show explain how this is the most incredible thing, how we found this island. It's like, is this for the Miami crowd, for the Jupiter Island crowd, or the Star Island? I mean, what are you doing? This destroys you. Believe it or not, were this benevolent billionaire. You always connect with real people. Why are you having your daughter? And do you understand what people think about your son-in-law, Jared? Do you know what they're going to be asking him? Doesn't know. Doesn't care. He doesn't care. Cash Patel. Is Cash still there? Cash. Are you still with that dame? You know she's putting the horns on you, right? You know that. The tarros. You know you're a cornuto. You know, Cash. I'm sorry. You know you're not the only one, Cash. You know that, right? Remember this guy? Remember when Pam Bondi appeared before everybody has said, how's your stock? How's the Dow doing? I mean, there's like one after another. And you know who's interesting? Is Besant seems to be the best because he's the only one who is not manifestly and royally fucked up. He doesn't come across. He's the only one. What happened? And Susie Wise, what are you doing? You were supposed to be the big gatekeeper. You guys are cooked. What happened? And now we've got reflecting pools and UFC, and I don't know if the ballroom is made. I don't understand. The $250 bill, the Gulf of America. I mean, all of this. Where did it go south? This is bizarre. And all my friends who said, well, how's your boy Trump doing? I said, no. Trump was great then. I don't sign on with somebody for the rest of my life. Doesn't that just... I am telling you, this is... Please don't let this time go by. What you're seeing, maybe you're not used to it. Maybe you're not used to this. Maybe you're just so busy. This hasn't happened. I've never seen going down Nixon's list. Reagan with Mike Deaver and Lynn Nofziger, and I mean the best of the best of the best, and Meese, and Even with Nixon, even John Mitchell before he had that terrible fall, Haldeman and Ehrlichman, and we've never seen, everybody had a certain degree of, I hate to say gravitas, but these people, each person is more screwed up after the other. I can't believe it. And let me also tell you something right now. You know we're going to lose the midterms, right? Everybody? You got to understand. You understand that, right? Do you know what happens? Do you know what happens if they take the election, if they take 2028? All the stuff that would happen, all of the crackdown, all of the First Amendment freedom, all the stuff that we finally got back, they're going for the throat. Listen to me. They are waiting. And anything that has the slightest thing to do with Trump, they're going to collapse. That's why, interestingly enough, people like Candace will not be able to be associated with Trump because she has been so negative. And so what I'm telling you is, if I had to meet with a president, I would say, understand what's happening here. There are people who are going to start turning away from you because they want to be able to say, I wasn't with him at the end when it was going. Who is showing up to our 250th birthday? Who's showing up? Ralph Macchio? Half of the, is it Millie or is it Vanilli? This is embarrassing. You do know what I'm talking about. Just nod. Just nod. It's going to be horrible again. And whatever you thought was bad with Biden, remember all this trans stuff. Remember in the White House, Cooper, this trans. Put it this way, Vance makes Cooper look like Richard Boone. Remember Cooper with the long way? Hello. Remember that when they had women or man exposing their surgical breasts at the White House? Do you remember this? It was full court. I mean, it was nuts. Remember that Rachel Levine? Remember that from the Navy? This dude with the dress. Remember that one? Remember General Milley? Speaking of Milli Vanilli, when they were having all this, remember the CIA, was it CIA or the recruiting posters for LGBTQ? Do you know what's happening in Los Angeles? This was the lesbian brigade. Remember that? Remember that mindset where this lesbian big woman said, if you need me to carry somebody out of your home, you're basically SOL, my friends, because they shouldn't have gotten sick in the first place. Remember this? Remember that all that happened, I know it's LA, nobody cares, right? But everything that happened in LA, the water, they gave away millions. They had a reservoir. And all of that was to force and to destroy these parts to make way for the next FIFA, I believe, and also for the Olympics. And they want to destroy the Beverly Hills, and they want them out. Directed energy weapons, are they real? Remember when they had these weird fires? Remember Lahaina in Hawaii? Fine, how are you? Remember when Oprah was going to buy all this stuff? Remember it was in Lahaina? Remember that? Remember the fires in Northern California? And people were saying, why are we seeing beams? These were people who said beams. And they told Marjorie Taylor Greene, she mentioned something about a laser. And they said, oh, you're an anti-Semite because you brought up the Rothschilds. I don't know how they make these connections. Remember that? Remember when people were saying, we see this? Joe Biden even said, if you have a blue roof, you're protected. Do you remember this? Remember the 6'5" Biden? They brought out a Biden wearing a mask. This went on and nothing happened. Why do you think? Remember they were trying to put that rail in the Northern California? And people were saying, sometimes a house would catch on fire and nothing around it. Or everything around it would catch on fire, but not the house in the middle. And it was time after time after time. People said, oh, that's crazy. You're nuts. And they said, no, we're seeing this. You've got to understand, I lived in a world, and I've been through this. I sat there, and I still tell people who know nothing about it. At 5:20 p.m. on September the 11th, you know about it. Building 7 fell in a free fall, and it was hit by nothing. And to this day, 90% of the people know nothing about it. They referred to some NIST study, and it was obviously a controlled demolition. Let me say that again. On the day where everybody said, never forget, the third steel structured building fell. I'm giving this as an example. Nothing ever happened. Nothing. You're also being told, hey, we're going to let you know a little bit about the UAPs. Hey, we're going to let you know about maybe the Kennedy assassination. Hey, we've got some. Ooh, you're not going to know anything. Ever. Ever. And the reason why is they want you to get used to things not being told you. The first time they pull anything out, the first time they bring out okay, here are the files, you're going to say, oh, we won. Let's keep going. No. Epstein, you think there's files. There's not really files. There's evidence. There was no investigation ever. Nothing happened. And everybody in Washington said, does it go any further, right? Left and right, you betcha. They mocked you. They laughed at you. You're not going to find out anything. They don't give a shit about you. Nothing. Whether it's Trump, whether it's J.D. Vance, it ain't going to happen. So let me ask you something. Does that bother you? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're saying, you know what? Look, you're getting worked up in a front. I gave up a long time ago. And you know what? If you give up, I understand. I've been around. I've seen this. Nobody knows anything. We went through Vietnam. Didn't matter. We live in a world right now where we're just slaves. We're like vassals. We're just peasants. We live in this feudal, I don't know what it is. We're caretakers of the land. We don't have anything. There's a handful of people who run the show, and they don't care about us. And everything George Carlin said was true. Everything. And it's worse than anything you can imagine. And you can laugh, and you can say things, but understand something. They basically told you, you got that? You can complain all you want. You can write Epstein, release Epstein. You can write all you want. Nothing happens. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody. Stand up for these. Look at what my wife does. And thank you for following her at Lynn's Warriors. Look what she does. She basically brings family members to Washington and to Mar-a-Lago and says, talk to these people. All of them had children who took their lives based upon these programs with no guardrails whatsoever. And big tech said, not going to do anything. Not going to do anything. Think about that. But if you say something about Israel, or you say something about COVID, or say something about ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, or if you're an election denier, you're done. You're finished. You will be. How many of you, just give me the number one. Have you ever had Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anything ever shut down, suspended, or put in some kind of like Facebook jail? Has this ever happened to you? If it has, just type the number one. That's all. You don't have to write anything. Just to give me an idea. Has this ever happened to you? This is just a free kind of an exchange. And you've been told you can't say anything. Look at this. Look at the number one. Look. No, good for you. Good for you, Olivia. You haven't had it. We've all had it happen. Think about what this is. And what they do is they use the government, kind of like these people, as a proxy. The government says, hey, do me a favor. Yeah. Let's get that milk dog. Let's take this, okay? Let's get rid of her. So the government says, suspend her. This is the way people talk. It's like if they could suspend your phone, or in the days when we had, newspapers and the press, it's a proxy coming in to shut you up. It's incredible. It blows my mind. We're not talking about nothing. It's just, but what we do get excited over is the craziest thing ever. There are people in the street wanting to kill each other because the Knicks lost a game. This is how demented. And they want to get violent. They want to attack people for a game. But when humanity is slaughtered in our name, we don't do anything. Oh, well, what are you going to do? Hey, it's above my pay grade. So what I want to say is very, very simply this, my friend. You keep it up, Candace. You keep it up. Whatever you have to do, whatever the thing is that you have to do, keep it up. And the next step is going to take all of this energy and all these fine people, and let's direct them like a directed energy weapon. I mean it. I don't want to sit around and spend the rest of my life talking about TPUSA. I'm not interested. It's fun for a while, but they're going to go away. Tyler Robinson is next. They're going to try. Nobody cares about him. This punk, this Carmelo Anthony is just, I don't understand it. He's a killer. He's killed. I'm surprised he didn't do life. There are people who think somehow he should be. He said, but what about Tyler Robinson? Who cares about Tyler? He confessed. And they know nothing about it. Remember, go back and listen to Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore's version with Tucker Carlson is probably the best I've ever heard. It's absolutely stupendous. In any event, dear friends, one more time, sign up for the newsletter right here. Sign up. I appreciate it immensely. Sign up for that newsletter. And it is a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for taking time out to allow me to rant and to wax logo-lalic, perhaps, regarding this. I appreciate it. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And we'll see each other again, my friends. Have a great and glorious night. Thank you so much. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue ya. Dad.